Can a sitting president be required to respond to a subpoena?
So that's a hypothetical question about what would be an elaboration or a difference from U.S. v. Nixon's precise holding.
That's right.
And I think going with the Justice Ginsburg principle, which is really not the Justice Ginsburg alone principle, it's everyone's principle on the current Supreme Court. And as a matter of the canons of judicial independence, I can't give you an answer on that hypothetical question.
So you can't give me an answer on whether a president has to respond to a subpoena from a court of law?
As my understanding is that you're asking me to give my view on a potential hypothetical, and that's something that each of the 8 justices currently sitting on the Supreme Court, when they were sitting in my seat, declined to decide potential hypothetical cases.
Trump claims he has an absolute right to pardon himself, does he?
The question of self-pardons is something I've never analyzed. It's a question that I've not written about. It's a question, therefore, that's a hypothetical question that I can't begin to answer in this context as a sitting judge and as a nominee to the Supreme Court.
And the other half of that is the obvious one. Does the president have the ability to pardon somebody in exchange for a promise from that person they wouldn't testify against him?
Sarah, I'm not going to answer hypothetical questions of that sort. And there's a good reason for it. When judges don't, when we decide, we get briefs and arguments of the parties. We have a record. We have an appendix with all the information. We have amicus briefs, and then I never decide anything alone. I'm in a panel of 3, and if I'm confirmed to the Supreme Court, I'd be on a team of 9.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hope for the sake of the country that remains a hypothetical question.